I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast, OTP. Good to see you guys. Whatever it is you're doing, thanks for joining us. I'm chilling with my man Francis. Francis, how you doing?
I have a little bit of a problem.
What's going on?
Well, you know how I have my Rolex.
I do know that.
I'm wearing it right now.
I do know that.
Okay, so I love my Rolex. But I told you that when I purchased the Rolex, there were two factors that allowed me to really pull the trigger. One of which was that I had gotten engaged and I felt like I deserved some kind of treat, some prize to show off, to brandish to people.
It's a stretch, but
to
it's good.
signify, this major development in my life. It's really just jealousy that she gets to wear the engagement ring and I get nothing. So I got myself an engagement ring to wear around my wrist. But the other thing was that I felt pretty confident that I was on the verge of a major career breakthrough and a big deal.
Yes.
Which would entail a big paycheck.
Right.
Recently, I have become a little less certain about how well, let's just say I realized that in purchasing the Rolex, I may have been putting the cart before the horse. I may have counted my chickens before they had hatched.
Yeah,
now, both of those idioms are sort of livestock, barnyard themed aphorisms, correct?
Yes.
Chickens before they've hatched,
indeed.
Cart before the horse. And I think that is apt because, I like barns and farms and,
stables and men.
Yeah. And things are involving noise and smells where you can walk through the stables and, you have to clean out the pens. And, yeah, that's good. I love hearing those sounds. Bleating sheep. Yeah, nice. You sound like a children's book that you can press buttons on. That's what you sound like. Yeah, this is great. I'm ready to be a father. So, all of this is to say that I now I look at the Rolex as almost like some kind of karmic reminder not to put the cart before the horse. I worry that wearing it is going to actually tip the scales against me.
Yes. The what is it to the mean?
Yeah, the karmic reversion to the mean. But this is a slight twist on that. Yeah. Let me ask you this: it's like it's to me it's like holding up the trophy before you've crossed the finish line.
Right.
And do you think that I should not wear the watch until I
fucking wear the watch, bro? Fuck that shit.
But then if this thing doesn't happen, then I will blame the watch.
Which is absurd. But I guess it's good to have a scapegoat, dude. Fucking watch.
I will blame myself for having not purchased the watch, but for having worn the watch. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, but that's ridiculous, dude. Do that to yourself.
I can say that it's ridiculous. I know that as a spoken truth, it's ridiculous. It doesn't change my fundamental feeling about it.
Right. No, it's true. But I just don't, it's not fair. Like, why do you get to decide when you're allowed to wear it or not? What's bullshit, dude? What is this committee you've created in your head that have said, Francis, thou shalt not wear the watch? It's not the fucking, it's not the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, well, so you're just taking a totally almost atheistic stance on this whole thing.
The watch has no cosmic power at all.
You don't believe in fate whatsoever? Karma? None of that?
No, I do a little. I don't not believe in it. I believe in it. Like, I believe in, like, if you do bad shit's going to happen to you, and maybe in an abstract way, whatever. But I don't think that the watch is something that applies to this. I don't think that there's some sort of you know, you got it for retail. Like you know,
Well, here's
Enjoy it.
okay. So you know, back to the barn thing, right? It's like I won't lie. You know, I think that for me, the more apt idiom would be like I purchased a barn before I had any understanding of how to farm.
right.
So that's me putting the cart before the horse, right?
Yeah.
But in doing so, the what I said to myself was that, well, barns are actually very scarce right now, and you know, the secondary market for barns has exploded in COVID, and barns actually are rising in value the second that they are purchased, and it's an appreciating asset.
It's a watch, dude.
And you know, there's one company that makes barns, and nobody really knows how many barns they actually make. There's like all kinds of rumors on Reddit about what number of barns they're putting out, but nobody really knows for sure. So like
This barn metaphor has actually really grown on me.
yeah,
Since you started it.
yeah, like and I used all that reasoning to buy my barn. I was like, well, even if you know I never learned to farm, the barn is still a good asset to have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, dude, listen, I'm not, that was very clever and I enjoyed that. No, I'm serious. It was, but I'm worried about this sort of like, again, like this idea that like you jumped the gun, bro, whatever, fucking you bought it. It's fine. You're not going to have to like sell your body to pay for it. You know, like you'll be all right. You splurged. Sometimes it's good to splurge.
What can I sell? What do I have that's of value? If you were guiding me
Your car.
on how to, we lease the car,
Oh, okay.
and oh my God, we are going to have hell to pay when that lease is up. Do you know how many times I've been hit in that car?
Dude, I think it's going to be fine. I think you'll be fine.
Why?
I don't know. Like otherwise people wouldn't lease cars if it was such a pain in the ass.
That car has been beaten to hell, and it's not my fault.
I know.
Twice I have been hit in that car while I was not moving. Twice on 2 separate occasions. Now you might say, well, you should have filed a police report and, you know, had the insurance stuff exchanged on the spot, which would be my fault for not doing that. And yet I didn't do that out of the goodness of my heart, which to me should mean that there should be a karmic reward.
It's true. Maybe you'll get it. Maybe
And
and you got a watch. That was your karmic reward.
So you're telling me this watch, I can wear it because I let those negligent drivers off the hook.
Dude, you're not some knucklehead college kid applying for an internship. Like that's the only time you don't wear your fancy watch. You don't wear your AP to your internship.
I don't
interview.
wear my watch. I wouldn't wear my watch to perform comedy
Why?
because I don't want the other comedians to think that I'm.
Bro, you think they know? You
That
think
I'm
they
doing
know about
well.
that? They don't know shit, dude. They would have to get so close to it to know. No, like none of comics are gonna be like, is that the Batman?
I was waiting to go on, and 3 comedians, one after another, came up to me and they went like, "Was that a new watch? Sick watch." Comedians are more into watches than you'd think.
I wonder who these comedians are. I bet they're successful.
Ehrenberg, Lev Fur, and that was it. It was just 2. I said 3 because I wanted to make
Oh,
my point
interesting.
seem more emphatic.
Okay,
I
fine,
lied.
fine. That doesn't surprise me that those 2 guys know about it, but I think in general, bro, I think you're fine, dude. You're overthinking this. Wear the fucking watch, dude. You got it to wear it. Wear it. Enjoy it. It's a nice watch. Dude, somebody messaged me something really funny. They're like, dude, I have a fake version of that watch. He's like, I should send it to you and you should just wear it on the podcast and wait till Francis notices. That's pretty funny.
Well, I have to say
this
too,
whole thing?
I have a dream. I have a dream, and by putting this dream out there, it means it won't come true. So don't get your hopes up. But I have a dream that our podcast will do so well, or some huge development will happen, such that, like Keanu Reeves purchasing Rolexes for his entire stunt team on the John Wick series,
Oh, that's sick.
I could buy team Rolexes for the group.
Like the John Wall. That's the John Wall move.
Did John Wall do
I
it
believe
too?
He did it. And dude, I think Louis does it for people when they would go on tour with him.
He'd buy them a Rolex?
I think so. Like as a thank you, he'd buy them like a Rolex, like pre his sort of fall from grace.
Mm.
But he used to buy everybody Rolexes. I think.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty cool, man.
Well, dude, I like the farm metaphors, and it really ties in well to what I'm about to start talking about.
Good.
So, dude, I was in Iowa doing a college.
Iowa, a state 75% of whose name is vowels.
Wow, that's crazy.
A lot of people don't know that.
That's crazy.
There are other states that have high
Vowelage?
percentages of vowels. What's another one you can think of?
Idaho,
Idaho's got a lot of vowels. That's a pretty good answer. Yeah, that's 60% vowels.
Indiana.
Oh, I'll have to do the math on that.
That's pretty.
Yeah, Maine's pretty good. That's 60% vowels, but you're missing an obvious one. Ohio, 75% vowels.
Crazy. Are there any more? I love these games, dude.
I think Hawaii's a lot of vowels.
Yeah, it is.
A-I-I.
Yeah.
It's 66% vowels.
It's a lot of vowelage. A lot of vowelage. Anyway, dude, I was at Iowa State University, Ames, Iowa. It's like 45 minutes away from Des Moines. Okay, now I'm going to go out on a limb here. There's a chance that Iowa is one of the most uneventful states that you can go to. I'm just saying, if you break it down, like,
what do you expect? Its name is made of vowels.
They're big producers of, corn and beef and pork and I think one of the most interesting things about it is that it's sort of a swing state, which is kind of interesting. Like, you expect a state like that to kind of be red, and it's not. So I'm kind of like, that's intriguing. I find that intriguing. And I had a good time, but dude, like, the farm folk, it was a big weekend. So Texas was in town playing Iowa State. Iowa State ended up winning that game. We had a quick in and out 11 p.m. show, and then we were on the first flight out the next morning. So we had been, and it's not that close to the Des Moines airport. So we're in the elevator at 4:30, going to our flight. Now we're on the third floor of a 3-floor situation, and the elevator moves very slowly between the floors. So we get to the second floor, and it's not crazy to feel like you're on the first floor if you weren't looking. So Ricky didn't notice. He opens the door, the elevator door opens, and he goes to walk off, and he accidentally like almost bumps into this kind of like big farm boy looking guy.
Corn-fed,
like big guy, Iowa State's crew neck sweatshirt, whitewash jeans, boots. He wasn't like dirty, but like this guy just looked like a farm boy.
Yeah.
Ricky almost bumps into him. He goes, sorry, proceeds to keep walking off the elevator, realizes we're on the second floor, gets back in the elevator. So it's sort of like a throwaway line, dude. He looks at this guy and he goes, sorry, man, I assumed I was the only person who was awake right now. And we did not see this coming, dude. But the guy says, quote, the only person who's awake, are you fucking kidding me? And we're like, what the fuck? And we just don't see. And he goes, you must be out of your mind. And we don't know what to say. And Ricky kind of just goes, you know what? Yeah, I think I am. And then the guy lifts his right arm in the air, dude, and just viciously comes down on Ricky's shoulder with it, like in a fraternizing way, like grabs his shoulder and he goes, now I think I like you. And we're like, what is happening? And then as the door opened, he goes, now let's kick some Texas fucking ass, and walks away from us forever. We were like, what just happened?
This is 4:30 in the morning?
4:30 in the morning. And I have no idea what any of that means. I don't know if that means that this guy's a farmer, so he wakes up early, or he was going to start celebrating the game. Dude, we were blown away.
Hang on. Can you give us the lines one more time?
Yeah, dude, I want to get them exactly specifically
He
right.
wrote this down on his phone.
Ricky, very politely and in a bond, almost in like a bonding kind of way, goes, sorry, man, I thought I was the only person who's awake. And the guy goes, the only person who's awake? Are you fucking kidding me? We're like, what?
Was he mad?
We don't know. It was crazy.
What about the tone?
The tone was exactly how I just said it. So it was like
bombastic.
It was just so aggressive. We're like, dude, you're lucky you're twice our size. Otherwise, that would be some shit you don't say. Like, that could start a fight. You know what I mean? This guy was enormous.
Yeah, my guess is that he spoke that way because he is humongous.
Probably.
You say, you're lucky you're twice our size. It's like, well, it's unlucky that we're half your size.
Dude,
because that's why you can speak to us that way.
dude, it was so surprising. He didn't look like a guy like you're like, oh, this guy's going to be trouble. Like the next two guys I'm going to tell you about. This guy looked like he wasn't trouble at all. He had a black coffee in his hand, and he just looked like a guy who might be like, morning. He looked like that kind of guy.
Charming. Yeah.
He just looked like a nice, like, guy that doesn't have that much to say, who's really nice and easy to be around, a gentle giant. That's what he looked like.
Okay, yeah.
And instead, he just came in the hottest I've ever seen anybody come in. And I don't know what the fuck was happening, if it was about the game or whatever. And yeah, we say nothing, and you must be out of your mind. What? What do you mean, dude?
I like him.
Why are we out of our mind?
I like him.
And-
Don't you like him, Ryan? Ryan likes him.
And Ricky he's like, yeah, I guess I am. And then the arm of fury down on his shoulder. Now I like you.
That would have been very validating for me.
Dude,
To get that hand thing, I would have felt, oh, wow, I'm going to have a day.
Dude, we were just like, all right, man, like that was insane. We had no other take on it than that was just absolutely crazy. Dude, then we're in the airport and it's 6 a.m. They start serving at 6 a.m. And these guys who kind of looked like you don't want to look at them for too long kind of guys, they order a beer. And the guy goes, I'll take the roofie. And we're like, did you just say the roofie? We're like, what's the roofie? And you know how taps of beer will have different things on top? Like the logo of the tap, the different wooden thing.
Yeah.
He goes, see the one of the chick who's got her tits out? That's the roofie.
Oh my
We were like,
God.
what is happening? 6 a.m., dude. What?
You just don't expect that from a state made of
roofie?
vowels. I
know. But anyway, dude, I mean, by no means, like I said, Iowa is a very sort of like politically diverse state, I think. I think they voted red in maybe the last two elections, but I know that they voted for Obama in one of the, so they're known to go back and forth, which I find to be interesting. Anyway, we had a great time in Iowa. And I remember telling him before we went, I was like, dude, this is going to be a funny trip. And it ended up becoming a funny trip. Dude, we went to, so there's only one place that we could go get food because it was walking distance from the hotel. So we went there for lunch and dinner. And then we thought it would just be hilarious. Like we just became enamored with this bartender. And we kept fucking like, we were like taking selfies with him. We're like the best bartender in the entire world. Tagged him, followed him on Instagram. Dude, I don't know. It's just like, you got to love a random gig.
Yeah.
A random gig is always a good time.
I do like a random gig, and it's something that I appreciate about the work that we do because it takes us to places that we would never go.
Dude, so fun.
Yeah.
Dude, so we're working with a really cool company that will help you to create a wonderful, personalized gift for family members. It is called StoryWorth. Now, StoryWorth is an online service that helps you and your loved ones preserve precious memories and stories for years to come. It's a thoughtful and meaningful gift that connects you to those who matter most. Essentially, StoryWorth is a service where they will email you over time a series of questions, and eventually those stories turn into your life story, which is such a fun thing to be able to give to people. You know what I mean? Especially if, I would like my mom, you know what I mean? I gifted this to my mom. And eventually my mom is going to have this amazing, cohesive life story to share with us. And it's a really fun thing. And honestly, like I'm enjoying even using it because it's asking me questions. It's forcing me to like find memories. It like brings the best out of you, if that makes sense. It's really cool. And like, for example, I'm learning stuff about my mom already as she's filling it out, just stuff about the way that she ended up in America, how that decision-making process came to be. And things about her parents and how her parents' had come, which is what made them want to come. And it's so interesting to learn about your family in this kind of detailed capacity. So with StoryWorth, I'm giving those that I love the most a thoughtful, personal gift from the heart, preserving their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/oops, save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/oops to save $10 on your first purchase. Such a good time.
Okay, I got a road story from Providence.
Ooh, baby.
After the shows on Friday, I went back to my hotel. It was a Marriott, and in the lobby checking in was the entire University of Pennsylvania women's volleyball team.
Oh, wow.
In town to play Brown the next day. Okay. Now, they're all wearing their Penn volleyball coats.
Love it.
Their regalia.
Love it.
They had a big tour bus outside or whatever. Not a tour bus, a charter bus. Now, we did this.
What do you mean we did this?
Did your tennis team travel and
Yes,
spend the
yes,
night
yes,
in
yes,
hotels?
yes.
And yeah. So this routine is really close to home for me. Especially that it was like an Ivy League team.
Right, you're like in your jumpsuit.
Yeah. And, you'd be wearing your uniforms, like some predetermined, outfit that everyone would wear to travel, look like a team, etc. Usually, actually, we had to wear like khakis, and then we weren't allowed to wear like hoodies and sweatpants to travel.
Crazy.
Because we wanted to present ourselves as being a little more put together. And
being both academically and athletically superior.
Then, sure enough, we would get fucking destroyed on the field. And it's like, hey, coach, didn't really matter how professional we looked last night checking into that Sheraton.
Dude, that's like, you ever see the video of the New Zealand national team playing the United States basketball team? And they do like the hoka dance.
Oh, they do the haka?
Or the haka, and then they just get beat by 50 points. It's like, dude, that's human.
Well, the haka is not, I don't know. That's this thing where it's like, if someone does that before a rugby match, you're pissing in your socks.
Right.
But basketball,
right, you're not allowed to.
What's the point?
That's a good point.
So, all right. So I feel dad energy coming on as I pass by
This team.
The urge to somehow let them know that I played lacrosse at Harvard is bubbling up. But that also the urge to let them know I'm not uncool. I get it. I'm up with the times. And I'm thinking, well, I'm probably not going to say a word to these ladies. So it won't matter. But, let's see how this plays out. We get to the elevator. There are only 2 elevators. And the women's team, they have their 3 coaches. It's like 25 ladies. But keep in mind, they're all really tall because it's the volleyball team. So they're like 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet, whatever. Now, I'm the only non-Penn women's volleyball player waiting to get in the elevator. And so one of them, I'm like halfway back in the line. Mm-hmm. And the elevators are taking like 5-6 people up at a time. And somewhere halfway back in the line near me is like, oh, we should let this guy go. Let this guy go. He's not with us. And I was like, oh, no, that's okay. I don't mind waiting. Now the door's open. Now the door's open and they've opened it. And I then said, are you guys in season right now? Mm-hmm. Let me ask you something. Is that a dumb question?
No. It's just like it's an opportunity for you to be able to say that you played.
Why isn't it a dumb question? Knowing what you know about college athletics.
Because it's like a rhetorical question almost.
What could they be doing where
nothing?
They could be.
You don't think so?
That's my question.
Yeah, they're in season. Like even if
but couldn't they be in the off season doing coming to scrimmage Brown or like doing a non
like I don't know about you guys, we had a fall and a spring season. So like if it was fall, we're still in season,
Right. Because so
if you're traveling as a team, you're in season.
The reason interesting. Right? The reason this matters is because I said, are you guys in season? Like and one of the women immediately went, no, we're just doing this. We're just dressed like this because.
Oh man, you just couldn't avoid being dadded.
Instantly stuffed me into a locker of shame. And now, keep in mind, I've just come off of 2 hot shows at the Providence Comedy Connection where I did really well.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing the comedy ball.
Yeah.
And I go from dad energy to
Comedian.
heckler.
Yes.
I'm going to fucking murder you in front of your 25 teammates energy. And so now it's like, all right, I need to try to prove to this woman that I'm funnier than she is in as few words as possible. And I was like, well, you could be in the off season. And then her friends or something were like, don't mind her. She's just so sassy. Like she's the sassy one. And the girl's like rolling her eyes or whatever. And I'm like, I mean, and I regret this, but I was like, well, I played college sports too. Like we would travel in the off season, in the fall, whatever. I why is that a crazy question? And I'm like, kind of now, brother, sister, elbowing back and forth, like hoping this girl's going to dig in. And she's kind of like throwing back little sassy nonsense. And then I got in the elevator with the next group. I went up and I went into my room and I looked up the Penn women's volleyball roster on their collegiate university website, and I found the girl who had spoken down to me. And then I looked her up on Instagram and saw that she had fewer than like 1,500 followers. And that was the only way that I would be able to go to bed that night.
Oh my God, dude. I love it.
I needed to find something.
Some channel of superiority.
Because I had not been able to say the thing that would have proven to her that she had locked elk horns with the wrong stag.
That's hilarious. Dude.
What'd you say, Ryan? No, I hadn't come up with anything.
Yeah.
And I was so
I understand.
ruffled. My feathers were ruffled. This girl in 1 or 5 words or whatever had put me on.
She skewered you.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And I didn't think that but interestingly, she saw right through me. It's as if she knew that I was trying to like share information that they didn't fucking hear.
The intuitive, dude, that's crazy, man. But I understand it's sort of like the idea of like somebody does something and it's annoying, and then you think of the perfect comeback 6 hours later type of thing.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't sound like you ever did.
No, I didn't.
But at least you were able to come to terms with it.
And I think what I learned in this exchange is that as you get older, you feel yourself becoming less and less relevant to young people, especially.
Right.
And you work harder and harder to try to convince them that you're still relevant or that you once were relevant. And it really occurred to me, like, why would me telling this girl that I played lacrosse at Harvard mean anything? What are we gonna fucking share breakfast?
Right.
Oh, he's safe now. He's one of us. Let's It's good that you're here in case, one of us needs like a blood donation or something. Like, we have nothing in common. I don't matter to her at all.
Right.
And that realization was troubling for my ego.
Yeah.
It really was.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's okay. I needed it. It's good.
Dude, I remember on one of these trips, I was rooming with one of the guys on our team. And I don't know if this was a thing that was specific to the day. And I'm sorry if I am coming off as sounding ignorant, but he was very religious. And I woke up and he was doing sort of like a ritual that involved props, like his arms he had done. And he had like some kind of headwear on, and he was doing this whole thing. And I thought I was dreaming. I was like, what's happening? It was before I wasn't familiar with that until then. And it was a crazy moment. I don't know what made me think of that. Just thinking of old road talk, dude. I hated playing Brown because they had really aggressive drunk fans at tennis matches. And they were like, let's go Bears. Let's go Bears. And like, it was really distracting. And then they would kick our ass. And it was like a really tough pill to swallow.
I liked playing them only because it was a 45-minute bus ride.
Right. That's true too.
From us. It was so fucking
for
close.
us too. Yeah. Dude, I mean,
it's just a day game and you didn't have to, you didn't get stiff on the bus.
Yeah. That always sucked. Losing to Harvard sucked too, because like you said, you have nothing.
So close. Yeah.
It's a better school. You go over the river, across the river, and get your ass kicked and fucking walk home like a fucking loser, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, one thing, Providence has some funny significance in my life. So one of my girlfriends went to RISD, which is like
Rhode Island School of Design.
They take liberal arts classes at Brown, I believe. So it's like, it's on the same campus pretty much.
Gorgeous campus. I walked right through their campus. Yeah.
It's awesome. So a couple of things. So the Lil Young Big idea was conceived on a bus ride to Providence to visit her, which is actually funny. And it was also, dude, it was weird being the like guy who's older going to visit college. It's really a tough thing to your point about being the older guy. Like it's really obvious. It's like, dude, what are you doing coming up here all the time? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's tough to be like the older guy dating the girl who's like in a younger stage of life and trying to fit in. You're like, oh, is that Wu-Tang? Oh man, I love Wu-Tang. I grew up on that stuff. I'm like, somebody smoking some reefer? I'll hit it. You guys need alcohol? Just you know who to. You know what I mean? It's bad, dude. Yeah. But I remember one weekend. So I took the bus, and at the time I've like had no money. Surprise, surprise. And I bought condoms from the CVS when I got off the bus, being like, you know, I'm going to see my girl. Like it's gonna be a big weekend. You know, I'm gonna
big weekend.
Have these just in case. I don't remember what ended up happening. It's not important. But for some reason, the condoms ended up not being used. And I walked I walked back to the store that I had bought them to return them.
Oh my God.
Because the $7 mattered, or however much they cost, $5, whatever. And the person who I returned them to was working when I bought them. And she goes, weekend didn't turn out the way you wanted. And to your point, I felt the need to be cool. And I was like, no, we didn't use them. And I winked. And I was like, dude, that is a smear on my life. What a loser, dude. What was I doing? You know, like who has ever also returning condoms? Like who has ever done that? Dude?
I know.
I feel like I've had a lot of good condom stories lately that I had buried deep. Oh man, dude.
We didn't use them. She had extras. Didn't need them. We just made out.
Dude, it's insane, dude. It's insane. Dude, it's fun. Isn't it funny though? Like college, there's so many funny, like, especially your social life in college is maybe the best it'll ever be. You're literally living with dozens of your friends.
Yeah, but in just decrepit,
totally,
you know, standards. It's disgusting.
True, but it didn't matter. You know what I mean? It's almost like the same way that these boarding school people have this bond because of the trauma they went through.
Yeah,
like in college, and I get like you happen to have a very good adult social life too, which is awesome. I feel like mine's solid too. Whatever. But in college, you have like dozens of friends, and there's so much gossip, and it's so fucking fun. And I remember one story that's really funny that really stands out to me. So one of my friends slept with his like Moby Dick. This girl was like way out of his league. It was hilarious. None of us could believe it happened. And this girl was roommates with one of my best friend's girlfriends. Is that confusing? So there's the two girls. One of them dates my friend. The other one is my buddy's Moby Dick.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So he slept over, spent the night, and my buddy was there also staying with his girlfriend, but he had no idea that they had hooked up.
Were these two guys friends?
Yes.
Okay.
So, dude, in the morning, he walks out of his bedroom, and the guy who had slept with the girl the night before is sitting at the kitchen table with his shirt off, reading the newspaper.
Waiting
He's
for
like,
him.
dude, are you serious? He's like, I made coffee. Like this guy was just feeling so fucking good about himself.
He was gonna ride that victory lap around the town until every villager had seen it. Yeah.
Dude, so amazing.
That's fantastic.
Dude, really good stuff. And
reading the newspaper.
It's a story we still talk about to this day.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's fantastic, dude.
I love it.
You gotta love it. But yeah, man, college was just really wonderful. It was nice to have your own time, and the scheduling was really nice. It was just a really chill thing, dude. Like I said, dude, when I have free time now, my new obsession, as you all know,
he's not lying.
Switchcraft.
This is totally, totally true.
One of the great games ever invented.
You are so hooked on this
dude. Most match 3 games, I mean, you know, like the ones that we all know, a great thing to play on your phone. They don't have this unbelievable graphic teen novel, amazing story to go along with it of witchcraft and sorcery and deceit and excitement and trying to figure out what the hell happened. And that is what is happening in this game. I am currently on level 316.
Oh my
As
God.
Francis and Ryan can both see, I'm showing them my phone.
Do you know how many levels there are?
No. And sometimes I'm like, I really hope we end up finding Lydia because that is what is happening in this game. You are Bailey. You are searching for Lydia. She has disappeared. I don't want to spoil too much of the game, but it almost has this whodunit feel to it. And you're trying to figure out if any of the faculty are involved, who's doing what. It's very awesome.
Bailey's like Hugh Jackman in that movie Prisoners. Daughters go missing and everyone else is like, it's been too long.
That's a good movie, bro. That's a good movie. That's a crazy movie.
Scary movie. But
I love this game, dude. The story's so good. There's a lot of great references to you personally playing the game. I can't stop playing it. It's free to download. I'm obsessed, dude. It's a great game.
Yes, you are.
So anyway, go download Switchcraft for free and unlock the magical mystery. It is a magical mystery indeed. Go up there to Pendle Hill, the world's top academy of witchcraft, and go solve what the hell's going on at that campus, because there's something fishy. Something's wrong, Francis. Lydia is missing, and quote, she just ran away is not cutting it. Let's get to the bottom of this while playing some awesome match 3 in the process. You love to see it, dude. Dude, I had a really funny story about a tale of the triumph of the human spirit the other day. A friend of mine was going to a wedding in Mexico, and she realized, or she had sent, gotten ahead of this, sent her passport away to renew it, and it didn't come back.
Oh gosh.
And dude, this wedding, it's her fiance's sister. She can't miss this wedding.
Yeah.
And dude, it's like a couple days before they have to leave, and she didn't have a passport still.
Oh God.
And it's like, what the fuck do you do in that situation? Dude, she literally like flew to Buffalo
To get her
to do an in-person passport appointment and
Oh my
hoped that,
God.
dude, it was crazy. I could not believe it. And like, I was so happy for her that she figured it
She
out.
pulled it off?
She fucking pulled it off.
Wow.
I know.
That's great.
I know, man.
Triumph of the human spirit indeed.
Yeah. Dude, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I there's we've talked about this before, but my friend whom you've met, we relish victories over companies or structures that typically win their battles just by assuming that most people will not have the patience to go through the system.
Oh man, I get off on this too.
And every once in a while they run into someone who is willing to go to the end of the earth for
right.
that $45 rebate
right.
or whatever it is, or chase down a canceled ticket refund and any whatever it is. And my friend has always dreamed of starting a company called Persistent Man Inc., where you can outsource
Oh, this is good.
to people those tasks, which will get done. You don't do
They're
them
just gonna
because
take
they
time.
require so much hours on hold,
Yeah.
so much, not giving up to. I gotta air one out.
Go ahead.
And this is something I gotta tell you, that being having a podcast with an audience or having a social media following, I wish I could use those as a leverage against these types of things,
Mhm.
but you end up just looking like an asshole.
Dude, so I did this with one of our clips that went like super viral on TikTok, and it was the most validating fucking thing in the entire world.
The Apple one, right?
Yes. Got like 2 million
Yeah,
views or
that's
something.
awesome.
Dude, it was amazing. So
Because
I understand.
then you hope that someone there saw it and
Oh,
is
yeah.
like, oh shit.
You're like, I am
someone-
making an impact
Yeah.
about my poor
Well,
customer service.
my
experience.
bone to pick is with the Vail Resorts Pass Company. Okay.
Is this in reference to something you've already
Ski
done?
passes.
Got
So, okay. So 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, I purchased the Epic Pass, which is the season pass, ski pass for, Vail. But it also covers like 20 mountains.
Okay.
And Vail lift tickets are so expensive that if you just ski like 3 or 4 days on this pass, you've paid for it.
Got it.
And that first year, I think I did exactly 4 days, which it was like, all right, well, I barely made it, whatever. But then the next year, I bought it again, and then like COVID happened, and I didn't really ski at all. And so the year after that, I was like, I was able to roll over the credit from the year before to the next year, and that year
That's solid.
I skied like 2 days, and at which point I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not buying this pass anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not making it worth it.
Yeah.
But unbeknownst to me, there's this situation where if you pay for the $45, it's just a $45 like deposit.
Mhm.
which locks you in at the lowest rate. And if you pay that rate, I didn't read the fine print, you are legally obligated to purchase the pass months later.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
And the $45 thing, it was like an auto renew, auto enroll thing.
Yes.
So I got dinged the $45, which reminded me like, oh, I've got to unenroll from purchasing the pass. And I went to try to do that, and I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Ooh.
And the reason I couldn't figure out how to do it was because I was not allowed to.
Ooh.
By having paid $45, I was not allowed to not buy the pass.
That's crazy.
So what I did was I refused to fill out the legal paperwork.
Got it.
The indemnification form, the waiver.
Yes.
And so I was starting to get these weekly reminder emails being like, hey, just so you know, you still haven't filled out your health waiver, your insurance liability form, like to complete your season pass, you need to do that. And I would just ignore these emails being like, well, if I don't sign the security pass, surely they can't charge me for the, I'm not going to have the pass.
Right.
For all they know, I've died. Right?
Right.
Which would be the ultimate irony.
It would be.
That I can't sign
Then
a
your parents have to
liability
pay
waiver
for it.
because I've died.
Yeah.
Now, out of nowhere, those emails start changing in tone. It becomes like, all of a sudden I got an email that was like, hi, if you don't, we will remind you that you paid for the deposit. And if you don't purchase the pass and fill out the waiver and do this, your name will go into collections and they will come hunt you down.
They'll
for
come
the
for
money.
you.
Yeah.
Damn. Bro,
And
fuck
that's
that.
when I decided to call them. And I called them, and it was the single worst customer service that I have ever experienced in any realm, business,
Wow.
anything in my life. Anything in my
Brutal.
life. I don't even want to get into it,
Dude,
because thinking about it makes me
feel
so
you.
mad. But they don't understand my question. I keep asking. Okay, I'm trying to work with this person. They can't figure out what I'm talking about. They're just reading off of a paper, these rote answers.
Ugh.
And then I'm like, all right, listen, can I speak to a manager? They patch me forward to the manager. The manager has no idea what's going on. Can't give me anything basically like, well, this is, the reason that you do the auto renew is to ensure you get the lowest rate. But if we pay for the deposit to get the lowest rate, you are legally obligated. It's in the, I don't know what to tell you. That's the deal.
Yeah.
And they're not going to budge.
Yeah.
So I now have a season pass for this upcoming ski season. And I don't know what to do short of go to one of their mountains and just pour
Start
anthrax
pissing on
into a
people.
snowblower. I don't know what level of revenge I can enact that will satisfy my bloodthirst for this situation. I feel so
Anthrax in a
wrong.
snowblower.
I want to fucking pour E. coli into their chili vending thing. I'm so mad, and I don't know if it means I should ski 100 days to just bury their pass into the ground.
Yeah.
And just ski out of fucking what's the word? Out of
Revenge?
vendetta.
Yeah,
Revenge
vengefully
ski vengefully ski. From 8 a.m. first tracks till 4 p.m. My knees just quivering with fatigue, but being like, I need another run. They should never have offered me that low rate.
Dude, you need to kill yourself on the ski lift. That'll really ruin it for everybody.
Just
The ultimate sacrifice.
stand in front of one of the blasting cannons that they let loose to sort of lower the avalanche risk. And then have my
You go up there with a TNT thing. You just start a gigantic avalanche, like a Wile E. Coyote Acme dynamite
I want to
box.
set up some kind of
Dude,
thing where
that's
we could
fucking
sue
great.
them for so much money, and I don't know if it's to get to utilize their 20% discount on your first ski tune of the year, get my skis tuned by their fucking shop, and then roll into the bunny slope and absolutely impale every ski school kid and blame it on the fucked up edge job that they did. Well, the wax wasn't what I asked for.
Dude,
There's
that's great.
7 dead kindergartners, and I can sue the mountain. I don't know.
Dude,
I don't know
it's
what
funny
it
as
is. I
fuck.
have not concocted my revenge
funny
plot
as
against
fuck.
this fucking Vail Resorts pass, but it is,
Dude, so this is about how I always feel about it. And somebody, like sometimes I feel this impulse to get revenge. Hillary tells me it's one of my most unattractive qualities. She thinks she's like, you're behaving unattractively. And it really hurts me. But sometimes I just can't control it, dude. And like when somebody fucking gets you, it just fucking sucks.
yeah.
So like, dude, I had a funny thing. Occasionally, like when I start like piping up a little bit on these calls, like you'll encounter somebody who's about to have their Jerry Maguire moment at work. Like they don't give a fuck, and they will. Dude, this happened to me, and I couldn't believe it.
Oh,
So
that is cool though.
I know. So I'm not even gonna air out the airline because I actually like flying this airline. It's not their fault. It was like bad luck. So I was trying to book a flight, and it just wasn't working. Okay. And I'm messaging, and they're kind of like, nobody can help me. And I'm sort of like, what's happening? Like the app's down. I don't know what's happening. So I call, dude. And I got on the phone with the guy, and I'm like, dude, I was like, it won't let me do this. He's like, well, you can't do it that way on the app. I was like, well, then why is it offered on the app? And he like kind of doesn't say anything. I'm like, all right, this is kind of going weird. But then I'm like, all right, what like, oh, I'm like, I've tried so many times that it's now prompting me that I'm going to have to physically check in person because and it won't let me do online check-in because of the malfunction on your app.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, that wouldn't be the worst thing now, would it?
Ooh.
And I was like, excuse me, dude? What do you mean? Yeah, that fucking blows. It means I have to get to the airport earlier. And I kind of started huffing and puffing. I was like, huh. And then all of a sudden it just goes, thank you for agreeing to take the survey. He fucking hung up on me, dude.
I love it.
I wrote a 4-paragraph letter to the airline.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that when they get around to it, they're going to be like, sorry, da-da-da, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They better. Because guess what, dude? That fucking sucked ass. It was pretty funny, but like, are you fucking serious, dude? Like I had a legitimate gripe and I wasn't even being that much of a dick. And then this guy started being a dick. And before, dude, literally I was a step away from being like, dude, where are you? I'm coming there. I'm going to punch you in the fucking face. You're lucky you're hiding behind that phone, dude.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, look, to bring this full circle, it's like, what is the point of us having, influence on social media if we can't matter to these companies? Like, I want to use, influencers are always like hawking, eyeliner or fucking hotels they liked in the, the Maldives. I want to use my influence for doom. Like I want to post like Vail Resorts pass, the world's worst customer service, like with a full thing of like, but if I do that, I just come off as a petty
Absolutely.
asshole.
And like, even when I see people being like, hey, Delta, like tweeting, I'm like, oh, dude, you're desperate.
I know.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it to go public. Even though we're sitting here doing that. On
I
our
wish
podcast.
I wish I could just, maybe I should just, what would happen if we made up something? What if I said,
bro, they'll sue you. You like can't do that.
But I'm
It's
a parody.
defamation.
I'm a comedian. am I not protected under parody law? Can I not just say I was kidding?
So I think if they can prove that you've actually affected their sales, they can sue you. So, like that's the only, I think, I don't actually know. Never mind. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I don't either.
But you're right. I think if you're like a pervasive organization, the laws are different for you than it is if you're just so. I think that if it was like some business that wasn't well known, they could sue you. But if they are, maybe they can't. I forget.
You so badly in these horrific phone calls with customer service want to say, you don't know who you're dealing with. I have a sizable Instagram audience.
Right.
And I'm going to go on there and tell them all about how terrible your refund policy is.
And dude, the videos where I've seen people doing that, you just feel bad for the business.
I would never do it.
I would never
do it. But because it's legitimately the most spoiled, stupid thing you could possibly do.
Yes.
But I do believe in using influence for negative reasons. Like I like the idea of
it's a nice sentiment, but
negative influencers.
It's bad though. But that's funny. But all right, I know you guys are thinking I just said I'd never do that, and you're like, well, you just said that you fucking did an Apple clip. I would argue that that's different. Discussing it on a podcast is different than me showing up at the Apple headquarters with my dick out, being like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah.
Like that's a dick move.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
Yeah, because you're never going to see the person that you
It's ridiculous.
had that
you can't
bad
take it
exchange
out
with.
on these people. So I don't know, dude. Whatever. What are you gonna do?
Oops, the podcast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. This holiday season, The best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans just starting at $15 a month.
Changing the game, baby.
I have been using, Julio, Mint Mobile long before this holiday deal, and I have to say it's the perfect time to switch. You could be saving so much money with Mint Mobile's buy 3 months, get 3 months free holiday deal. It is the perfect gift for anyone in your family that is looking to save some money on their mobile plan this holiday season. So, Mint Mobile's best offer of the year is here. Buy any 3-month plan and get 3 months free. By going online only and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you. With Mint Mobile, choose the amount of monthly data that's right for you and stop paying for data that you never use. For a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/oops. That's mintmobile.com/oops. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/oops.
I hate when I'm hanging out with people and I hear them say B school.
Business school?
Yes. And I know what it means, but I purposely say, what's that? To show them that there's more to life than B school, dude. I don't give a fuck about B school. Or even more specifically, they'll say the name of the business school as if I'm supposed to know what that is.
Darden.
Langley.
Tuck.
Yeah. Darden is Virginia, right? Or something. I don't know.
I think so. I think you're right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
dude, it'll be like some random shit. It's like, I hate to break it to you, dog. No one fucking knows what that is.
Yeah.
I hope you had a great time networking because that's what B school's all about. Suck my dick, dude. This is so annoying. It's fucking the evil Francis laugh. But dude, yeah, like that's, as they say, that's like some inside baseball shit. I'm supposed to know about B school. I don't know about B school.
Did I tell you that my freshman roommate is currently a contestant on The Bachelorette?
You did.
I told you that. Did I tell you that on the podcast?
No, you actually texted it to us. Now that I remember.
My freshman roommate from college is a contestant on The Bachelorette, and he is the second contestant, or the second. This is the second Bachelorette in a row that is featuring a Harvard grad, which is making it clear to me that my degree would be more valuable if I went into reality television than it was for any other reason.
But it makes, in that context, it makes sense because it's like, you're supposed to be a quote, good candidate. And there's no better way to have quote, good candidacy than that fucking diploma hanging right up on that wall, Poppy.
But okay.
You know, it's a perfect opportunity for
the
it.
first season. They had this guy on who, was this goofy kind of, it was as if the producer said, amplify your Harvardness to 1,000.
Yeah.
And he leaned into that. He wore a tuxedo for like the meet and greet. He arrived in a stretched limo. I think one of the first things he said was that he went to Harvard, and everyone was like, "Oh, how do you know?" That stupid line, like, "How do you know a Harvard grad went to Harvard?" They'll tell you in their first sentence.
Right.
And it's like, okay, the guy that I was roommates with my freshman year, is a really unusual person to be on this show. In fact, I audibly gasped when a friend of mine sent me his like new profile on, Bachelor Nation or Bachelor Nation, whatever. His name's Romeo.
No
By the way, I'm not outing him at all.
He's literally on the show.
Romeo Alexander. He went to Stuyvesant High School.
Okay.
And really handsome guy.
He looks like Russell Wilson, dude.
Really, really handsome guy. Played football. Okay. So
he's good looking. He's a killer smile.
I think he walked onto the Harvard team, played for a few weeks, and then said, I'm not going to do this anymore.
The old Shane Gillis.
Yeah, but he's big and he's muscular and he's really handsome, and I think he graduated like 3rd or 4th in his class.
Oh God! So then, why are you surprised? He sounds like a perfect bachelor.
Okay, because
he doesn't need the bachelor.
Well, despite how handsome and good looking and unusual and smart he is, this was a guy who my freshman year we had bunk beds. So I had the top bunk and he had the bottom bunk. I don't think he spent a single night in our room.
Really?
He slept every single night in the library. He would bring his pillow to the library. He would work until 4 a.m. he would sleep for 2 hours on an armchair with his pillow, and then he would wake up and work from 6 until
This guy sounds
class.
like he could be president.
But dude, he took Math 55 as a freshman. Math 55 is universally considered the most advanced math class at Harvard. It's hard. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like it's so beyond belief. It takes most of the students who are in it are seniors, and
It's
he
like
took it as a
Goodwill
freshman.
Hunting shit.
Yeah, and crushed it. Went on after Harvard. I think he worked in finance for a little bit, but then he became a math researcher, got his PhD in math,
Jesus.
and worked in a lab doing research. So
Jesus.
developing new proofs and discovering new
That's
math
crazy, bro.
that nobody had done before. So
Crazy.
it's hard to describe. Like
How
this,
impressive
you
he is.
cannot talk to this person
Got you.
because his brain is so advanced. He's a human computer operating on a level that none of us would even understand. And out of nowhere, he goes from math laboratory research PhD guy to the Bachelorette.
So he's not even the Bachelor. He's a contestant on
He's
the
a
Bachelorette.
contestant
You'd
on
think
the
he could be the
Bachelorette.
Bachelor.
Well, that's what they often do, by the way.
Oh.
Is whoever's like,
Bro, this
oftentimes whoever comes in like second or third. But I can't. I don't watch the show. So if anyone watches the show and wants to weigh in on how he's doing, he may be eliminated for all I know already. But how could he buy into this bullshit simulation of love and on a reality TV show that we all know is trash,
Right.
given the data-driven reality from whence he comes? Those two worlds
Totally.
do not cross in my
Totally,
mind.
totally.
And I may have something totally wrong here. Maybe it fits perfectly, but I don't even know. To me, it's like saying that someone went from being,
I completely get
in the
it.
Peace Corps to the NBA or something. Like,
That doesn't even do it justice. It's like, but I get what you're saying. It's so it seems like such an unnecessary avenue
the
for him.
craziest left turn
Yeah.
ever. Whereas the first guy that was from Harvard that went on, I got that. They were like, oh, we're filling this trope of
Right. A type.
Ivy League douchebag. Like, that's
Yes.
a good role we want on the Bachelorette,
Yeah.
But this guy's not that.
Yeah.
This guy is not wearing a Harvard flag. What's he going to talk about with the
dude.
Bachelorette?
Totally. And it's also, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy to be in that situation. And I bet also, dude, I bet it can be like kind of painful when you're this guy who's this incredible candidate and you've done everything right. And now you just lose to some guy who just happened to have Brooklyn Roasting Company coffee in his kitchen.
Oh, well, I think if I know Romeo as well as I think I do, he would admit defeat and shake that gentleman's hand, because you bring Brooklyn Roasting Company to a
Right,
Bachelorette
Nick.
fight, you're going to get your
You're
butt
going
handed
down, pal.
to you. Yeah.
There's no way to compete with that, dude. You try walking out of that apartment after your first night over somebody's house and you spot that Wei Tananga on the counter, you're hopping back in bed for round two.
Yeah, you bring out a bunch of roses for her, and he breaks out a tin of the Iris espresso. I mean, you're packing your bags before she even doesn't give you the rose. I don't know how it works. Whatever the hell it is.
Brooklyn Roasting Company, our favorite coffee, our favorite espresso, our favorite coffee products in general. Don't sleep on the ooey gooey golly glop, the coffee peanut butter. It's absolutely fucking delicious. We love it. If you use promo codes OOPSBEANS, you will get 5% off of your order. Join the Coffee of the Month Club. Get in there. Brooklyn Roasting Company. It's amazing. Dude, I realized something ridiculous the other day. I'm sorry. Is there more Bachelor talk?
No,
I
that's
didn't mean to
it.
cut that
That's
off.
it. I'm just fascinated.
Shout
by
out
that.
Romeo. Good luck. I cannot imagine.
He's a great dude.
I can't imagine you losing.
He's a really sweet guy, and I like him a lot, but he was so advanced in terms of his thinking that it was hard for me to like talk to him.
Right.
I tried. he was too much smarter.
And this is the other thing too. He's gorgeous. He's smart. And I'm guessing humble because a lot of times Stuyvesant kids don't come for money. Like you have to take a test to get in, and it's sort of like your way of beating the system and competing with the Daltons and the Riverdales of New York City by going to Stuyvesant. So like,
and that you bring up a great point. And the reason, by the way, that I gave the racial breakdown of the student body is because there has been a lot of backlash in the media about the fact that Stuyvesant is technically a public high school. Yes. Entrance or admission is granted entirely based off of one test. It's called the Specialized High Schools Admissions Test, the SHSAT. There are 8 or 10 of them in New York. You know, Bronx Latin, Brooklyn Tech, Bronx Science. A bunch of them are and they don't even like. They don't look at your. There's no essay. There's no personal statement. No recommendations, no grades from before. It's just how well you do on as a score on this test. They let in the top 1,000 applicants. And as a result, their student body gets skewed along racial lines because a lot of it depends on who can afford prep and tutoring for this test.
Right.
And for some reason, the Asian community in New York of students education is very well set up for the preparation of this test.
So, dude, it's
and
funny
I don't
you
know
say
exactly
that
why, but that has been. I am not saying that. That is what the news has said.
So, dude, the preparation thing though, it's like the money thing. I don't necessarily think comes into play as much because if you could really afford it, you just send them to one of those other prestigious places where they didn't have to like have this brutal upbringing of preparing for this test.
Right.
So, like, you get a lot of hockey parents. But it's about this test.
Yeah.
So a lot of the kids that I know who went there, their parents were like, listen, this is your only chance because we can't afford to send you to one of these other schools. And like, this is your ticket out of like this situation or whatever. It's like, you need to crush this, you need to get in.
I tutored that test.
I'm sure.
It's a really interesting test to tutor for.
Really?
There's some really interesting, funky, like.
Is it like an LSAT?
It's closer to the LSAT than it is to like the SSAT, which is what you took for boarding school.
Right.
It's not like grammar and vocab. It's like there's logic games and weird stuff like that. It was really kind of a fun test to tutor for. But as I said, because it's a public high school, there's a lot of backlash over the fact that, you know, it was so non-diverse.
Right.
And
this would be a great documentary, dude.
Yeah.
It's there's so like there's bigger things to address, like what you're saying about kind of like the weird racial breakdown, plus just the like stresses of all this stuff, and then like you could follow individuals along as well.
Right.
It'd be a great docu-piece. It would be a great story.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've probably done it.
I
before.
remember I think Bloomberg was in office when they really kind of came down and said like, why haven't you made this admissions process more fair for these schools? And he was like, it's a blind test. What could be more fair?
Absolutely.
That was his take. But you know, that's a slightly myopic answer. It ignores the whole test prep element of it.
Right.
But
and then listen, and not to go here, but customarily, some of these Asian cultures, they have a much more intense, rigorous academic expectation thing going on in a lot of these cultures, like Korea, et cetera. Like from a very young age, your academic performance, like completely dictates the possibilities of where you're going to go in life. So it's like not surprising to me that like it's culturally they like potentially have a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, in some ways I agree. I also know that I believe this is true. Ryan, you might want to fact check me on this, but I think Korea has the highest instance of teenage suicide
because
in
of
the
this,
world,
right?
Because of how insane the pressure is on academic performance.
100%.
I did a Skype tutoring for the SAT for a kid in Korea, who
crazy.
Walked me through his day, and it was like he went to school from 7 a.m. till 3, and then he went and did after school school.
Jesus.
They had these like programs that were like extended school from like 4 to 7 p.m. and then he would do test prep from like 8 on.
Oh my God, that's terrible. Terrible.
Oh gosh. But this is just suicide I'm talking teenage suicide.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of regular suicide too.
That was, by the way, that his fact there just told me what country has the highest suicide rate in the world.
Ooh.
What do you have any guess? I don't think you'll be able to guess. I'll give you a hint. It has something
Okay.
to do with weather.
Oh, Norway?
No,
Fuck.
no, like bad weather. Think
Right,
of a place
it's
that
cold. I don't know.
Norway. Norway's weather is not terrible.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I was just thinking the places where it gets dark for a long time and a place that no one would expect. So that's why I guess Norway. But
But thinking is
isn't wrong.
no is well, it's fair.
Okay. But is it cold weather?
Cold.
Russia?
No. What's the coldest country you can think of that has people that live on it?
Canada?
Greenland.
So Greenland is part of Denmark, though. This doesn't count. But that I was going to guess Greenland, but then I was like, oh, Greenland isn't a country.
Is Greenland not a country?
Greenland is not a country. It's part of Denmark.
Really?
But that does make sense.
Yeah.
I'd love to go there. Okay.
All right.
Well, dude, anyway, this is a complete other random thought, and you brought this up earlier on. You brought him up earlier in one of these episodes. I think it was this one. Hugh Jackman.
Oh, love him.
I used to think that his name as a kid, when I saw Wolverine or X-Men, whatever, I thought it was Huge Ackman. So I used to be like, I love Huge. Is that like a normal thing? Has anyone else ever made that mistake in history? Like, I was young enough that it wasn't crazy.
I would have thought Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman before Huge Ackman.
Yeah.
Because also he was huge, dude. Like he was
He's
jacked.
Huge.
And so I thought it was like a stage name. Hugh, here's this jacked. And this is before I knew that he was this like incredible stage, classically trained, like an incredible versatile actor who happened to become Wolverine. I just thought he was like like The Rock. Like he's parallel to The Rock. There's a guy named The Rock and there's a guy named Huge. Huge Ackman, dude. Good shit, man. I don't know. You got anything else?
Well, you bring up The Rock.
Yeah.
I've been meeting some interesting kids lately. Little kids.
Little kids?
I'm starting to warm to the idea of naming my son something really, I don't know.
Manly?
Something. So I met a kid recently named Ace.
That's a cool name.
And I like it.
I like that name.
I like names like Ace, Spike, Rock. I think I've met a kid named Rock too.
So I wonder, aren't these all nicknames though for other names?
That's my point. I would want to name the kid, actually name him.
Yeah, actually name him Ace or Spike.
Mm-hmm.
Spike, dude, I don't know, bro. I know a guy named Spike, but I think it's his nickname. And then, of course, there's the famous Spike character from Little Giants.
Yeah. I'll never forget the time his dad made him lift the friggin' refrigerator. And the whole time, even at 8 years old, I remember thinking, like, that's bad parenting. His spine has not fully formed.
Ryan, what's up?
Ryan's got this, yeah.
Yeah, so with the morbid facts here, between ages 15 and 19, the highest suicide rate amongst teens are in Lithuania, Russia, Sri Lanka, I'm not good with pronunciation, and Kazakhstan.
Wow.
Korea's nowhere on that list.
Crazy.
We fact check here on Who's the Podcast. Yep. That is not a correct fact that I spouted earlier.
And then after that, it's Norway, Canada, Austria, Finland, Belgium. So,
dude, I'll give you $100.
And this is from
right
a
now.
case study, so I don't think everything is consistent online, but that's what.
Man, I don't know what I don't think I made that up. I definitely heard that, but it might have been one of those things where it's like someone told me and they said that they heard it.
I had heard that too,
and that person had heard it.
Teen suicide is a problem, and also like it's interesting to kind of there's different ways to look at that as well. Like that's probably per capita as opposed to like the sheer number. Yeah, there you go.
All right,
dude.
Ryan, do me one more solid. Can you look up teenage suicide Korea?
He's really fishing.
I need you to tell me if like where it's a leading search, but
in the meantime, I will give you $100 if you can tell me the capital of Sri Lanka. Don't tell him, Ryan.
I don't know.
Never mind.
So suicide is the number one cause of death for South Korean teens.
Oh,
so
okay. Well, that is a really there we go. That's it's the number one cause of death for teens. But I would have bet that suicide is the number one cause for a lot of teens in a lot of countries.
I'll look that up.
You have to imagine, yeah, because in theory, hopefully you're fairly healthy as a teen.
I wonder. Okay.
Dude, Oops the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see you guys at the live show. We're expanding that concept, and we are sort of in the process of figuring out what those shows are going to look like. We're excited. It's going to be something different and fun, and we look forward to seeing you and having you at all of them. At Oops the Podcast on Instagram, oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up. That's the scoop. Adios.